I'm about to do a reweave of the fringe. So this is an ultra long, which is very easy. They're usually 3 rows for the fringe. So what I did was I did 3 rows, pushed 3 rows down, and some collectors, they start reweaving from the center part onwards. So they do from here to the edge and from the center part on this side as well. But I do it from one end to the other. So what you do here is you go row, vertical rows, not horizontal, you go vertical rows, okay? So here you see these two are short, so you push them down. The next row of plugs, now you go from the top plug, you section off the next row of plugs, and then you go from the top plug onwards. So this is really tightly plugged here, and there's short hairs and long hairs in that one plug. So I get a needle and I section it off like that. See, there's a short plug down here, which is on the plug further down. So you push this long plug up. You can wet the hair with a spray bottle. Just brush the long hairs up, and you can use a clip so it stops falling down. So this here is long, so I go from the top row plug, the middle row, and now I'm on the very bottom row. So that looks very long to me. So that's not part of the fringe, that goes up like that. So the next row is up here. That's the fringe, push that aside. The next plug here, pluck it out with the needle. That's short, so that's the fringe, push that aside, and then you start working like that. So the next plug up here, the very top row, that's short, that's the fringe, push that aside, and you go the next one here. And there's a short and a long hair in the one plug, so you pull the long one up and push the short one down. So just divide that, that's the next section. That's one hair, that's just the fringe of the one strand. You pull that down, pull this up, and along the way the hair dries, so wet it. You can give it a bit of a comb down. And this one here is long, you push that up. Okay, so now you start with the next 3 plugs that go down vertically. That's short, you push that to the side, and the next plug underneath that short plug, we'll see what that is. That's also short. So just do plug by plug, don't pull 2 plugs together and try to separate them. So this plug here, you can see short and long. So what I'm trying to do is push the short ones aside, sift through there, and that's the long plug. You pull that back. In and amongst that, it gets very messy, but you still have to section it so it's nice and tidy. Sometimes you have to pull some in between the rows of plugs so they go down and they're not pushed back, sticking up vertically. So that gets pulled back. What you do is you just use the needle and brush the short bits down. So then you go down to the next bit here, the first row of plugs, and there's a short plug, no, that's long. So this here is overlapping. What I'll do is I'll just make it neat so it sits flat, and when I do that, that overlaps. So I'll pull that back up. Then I start with the next row of plugs here. So that's easy. That's nice thick short fringe there. So you might have one hair that's long. So you just push that one hair back if you want to be very particular. Sometimes I sift through like that and I just pull the one hair back. And I start with the next plug here. And that's nice and easy. So see how I've sectioned each plug away and they're not intertwined and overlapping. So the top plug here, section there, that's the fringe. Then I separate the second row here, find the next plug. Sometimes they're really tightly plugged together, really bunched up, and it's hard to find the plug. It's like a thick plug. So I pull that and I pull that up, and then I go to the next one that's short. That's all good. So you slowly work your way like that, the first 3 rows. Sometimes you might have the 4th row up here that's a short plug. Yeah, and usually when you start reweaving, you gain a bit of experience and you know which plugs are manufacturer's cuts and which plugs have actually been cut by the child or the childhood owner. And you can usually tell when you're reweaving. So that's the long plug. And I go from top, middle, bottom. And nice, neat, vertical rows like that. So here, separate that. That's for the next row here. See, they sometimes overlap like that. So see, 1, 2, 3. Get the needle, push that one back up. Push that one back up there, and there's a long plug here. And I see if they're overlapping, what I do is whoops. See, this one's overlapping. It's not going to look good. Look at that. Yeah, you pull the plugs that are overlapping aside and make sure it's nice and vertical when you pull it up. Pull that long plug up. And eventually, if you do that all the way through, it should be nice and neat and tidy.